Okay, this is Johnny Boy Boxing at Fight Hype. We have a special guest with us today, John Red Shea, former pro boxer who made boatloads of money with crime boss James Whitey Bulger. How are you, John?
I'm doing great today, and thank you for reaching out. I mean, this is a pleasure and an honor. Thank you.
Well, you're an absolute legend, so I'm familiar with the story. I want to talk about you have a book out called Rap Bastards. Where can the people pick this book up? It's a very interesting read.
They can get it on Amazon. Everybody has Amazon, so they can just click right on. Rap Bastards, New York Times bestseller. Mark Wahlberg wrote the introduction.
Absolutely. That's great. That's awesome. Now, I want to get right into your story. You grew up in South Boston, they call AKA Southie. Tell us a little bit about that. What was it like growing up in Boston at that time?
So Southie, growing up at that time, wasn't easy. I mean, you needed to know how to handle yourself, and it was a predominantly the largest Irish enclave in Boston. So when I was a kid, I happened to get beat up by uh, older kids, sorry, and they stuck me down in the gutter and they spit on me and they did everything like a few older kids. So I ran home and I was so mad. I was so mad. I ran home and I wanted to grab a weapon at such a young age. And I was only a kid. I was only like 5, 6 years old.
Wow.
So my sister said, "What happened?" I told her, because I was enraged and crying. And the kid who did it, older kid, and his friend, they lived down the street from where we lived. My sister went down there and beat the shit out of both of them. She took a coat rack that was in the house. She ran in the house after them, but beat them with the coat rack. And after that, she said, "You're going to the gym to learn how to box." And that's where it all began.
So you started at a very young age, 6 years old?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now, so who were some of your favorite fighters where you were growing up? Did you have any inspirations that you did from?
So because I'm a redhead and growing up, I always admired, and most people won't remember him, but only boxing aficionados will.
Yeah,
Is Denny Little Red Lopez.
Little Red Lopez. I remember.
And Salvador Sanchez was the one to beat him and retire him.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
And so Little Red Lopez used to come in with the head, the feathers and everything, and he come in like a chief Indian and everything into the ring. It was great back then. I used to love that guy because he had so much heart. Not just a good boxer and a great fighter and a champion, but he had so much heart. He was the type of guy, if you knocked him down on the canvas, and many times he had been knocked down on the canvas, and this was a mistake for a lot of fighters against him. If you knocked him down, he got back up and knocked you out. So you were best not to knock him down. And Salvador Sanchez never knocked him down. He
Wow.
just punished him, boxed him, outboxed him.
That's crazy. So did you implement some of his style into your game? Did you use like some of his
A
boxing?
little bit, yes, a little bit. But the fighter that I loved during that my time and growing up was at that time was Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, definitely.
I love just a little slip, a little slip, little slip. You don't need to do anything big,
Yeah,
just a little bit. I'll take a little bit of the jab to give you my right hand and my left hook any day of the week, any
definitely.
day of the week. And I tell my fighters, anywhere I train, don't be afraid of that. Take a little bit, let it slide off, and then just drill right in.
That's a good strategy. That's a great strategy. Now I understand you fought with Mickey Ward when you were a kid as well, right? So
Yeah,
you got a
me and Mickey know each other from when we were 13. We fought each other in what they call the Silver Mitten tournament. And he beat me in the finals. So I was like, I've never forgotten that. So, excuse me, later on down the road, we were at an amateur boxing event and we were matched up again. And now we're older and we're bigger.
Yeah.
So my trainer says to me, "Hey, Red, go over and tell Mickey you haven't forgotten beating you in the finals of the Silver Mittens." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I like to keep my mouth shut and conserve my energy."
Definitely.
Go ahead. He said, "Go ahead." So I said, "All right, let me just do it and get it over with." So I go over, and Mickey's getting his hands wrapped by his brother, Dickie Eklund.
Dickie, I know Dickie, yeah.
So I walk over, I look down, I'm standing up, I look down at Mickey. I goes, hey, Mickey. He goes, yeah. I said, just remember, I haven't forgotten he beat me in the final of the Silver Mittens. I said, but tonight you're not beating me. I'm beating you. Just remember that. I'm kicking your ass tonight. So, and then I walk away, and Mickey's sitting there. He's very dry, great guy, dry, humid. And the guys who were sitting around Mickey were like, who the hell's that guy? Mickey goes, oh, he's from Southie. He's crazy. And so I got that earshot of that, and I started bursting out laughing, first of all. And I said, oh, now I just told Mickey what? I'm going to kick his ass tonight, right? So I lie down and put, towel over my eyes, lie down, get a little rest.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, well, one thing about Red Shea is that I'm a man of my word. When I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So we go out. The bell rings in the first round. I take it right to Mickey. We're not feeling each other out. Let's get it on. I said we were going to get it on. Let's get it on. So we were going at it like two pit bulls. And we didn't hear the bell ring. And we kept on fighting because we were so indulged in the fight itself.
Yeah.
That the referee jumped in, threw us apart, ripped us apart. And he said, you're both disqualified for fighting after the bell.
Gosh.
I was like, I felt like I was winning. I think I was winning too. So that said, I say to Mickey all the time, hey, Mickey, because we're great friends still, as you know. And I say to Mickey, who's the only guy in your whole career, doesn't matter, amateurs, juniors, or professional, that you ever gotten disqualified against?
He'll never forget you.
He'll never forget me. No, I love that guy.
Definitely. Great. He's a great guy.
He's a great, what a warrior he is, huh?
Yeah, the fights with him and Arturo Gatti went back and forth. I mean,
and by the way, I fought Arturo Gatti's brother, Joe, in Canada as an amateur and beat him when he was a Canadian champion.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
I hit him so hard that he was complaining because I knocked him through the ropes of a body shot with right hand. And he was complaining that I had something in my gloves. So when they took my gloves off, they checked my hand wrap to see if I had anything extra there. I kid you not. I was like, whatever.
You had
but
dynamite.
I won.
But you had dynamite in those gloves.
Yeah. It was that Irish power.
That's right. Straight from Ireland. Now, was his style similar to Arturo Gatti? Was he a boxer? Was he a puncher? What was his style like?
He was more of a boxer.
Oh, he was more of a boxer. You had to run chase.
He was more of a boxer, more a little technical in that sense. Okay. Where Arturo would like to mix it up more. He would like not to try and not get hit, which is smart. But sometimes you just gotta get in there.
Yeah, definitely. Now, speaking of Mickey Ward, he had a movie made about his life called The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg. Talk to me about your relationship with Mark and how's that going? I understand he's helping you with a movie right now that you're working on, your bio.
So at the moment, we're not working on the movie as of right now. But when I came home after my vacation, if you will, of 12 years in prison.
Exactly. Without snitching, by the way.
Oh, never. No.
We have to mention that. We have to add that.
Thank you.
Thank you. John Red Shea, stand up.
Never. I take full responsibility for anything I do. I never put it on anyone else's shoulders.
Definitely.
So that said, Mark got wind of me, and he was interested in my story. So I said, once I get out of my long vacation of 12 years, I thought about it because I never talked about my story before. And I said, hey, I see all these people who write these books in this genre, and every single one of them are guys who became informants or a rat or whatever.
Yeah.
And you never see it where a guy who walked the walk and was a stand-up guy and accepted full responsibility without sending anyone down the river.
Very rare, very rare.
Very rare, exactly. So I said to myself, you know, I think it's about time that a guy writes a book about being a stand-up guy. You know, I'm not saying what I did was stand up. What I'm saying, I accept my responsibility for the wrongs I've done, and I paid the dues, 12 years in prison for it. That's stand up.
Definitely, definitely.
So that said, I think it's about time that a stand-up guy is able to write his story and tell his story about being a man. Most of these books are written by informants, and all they do is talk about how to become an informant. Well, Red Shea talks about how to be a man and how to accept your responsibility and be a stand-up guy, no matter what.
Absolutely. So what are you doing with Mark right now? What's the
So Mark wrote the introduction to the book.
okay?
And right now, we're in limbo. I'm thinking about things where he's thinking about things, what possibilities, if you will. But I haven't really like wanted to really express myself in that way yet. I'm just starting, even though I wrote the book, I'm just starting to uh, open up more about it, if you will.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, and there's definitely things in the works, but I'm going slowly because I want to make sure that everything's done appropriately, and then after that, I'm set financially for the rest of my life, if you will.
Definitely.
And it's a business like anything else. It's a business, and you have to be business smart and orientated in that sense.
Yeah.
So.
That makes sense. And I saw you with pictures with Johnny Depp on the set of Black Mass. What was that about? Someone give us some of those details.
So I was on set. I got a call one night and said, "Hey, all the cast from Black Mass want to see you. They want to meet you. They heard so much about you." I said, "Sure. Yeah, Johnny Depp wants to meet you. Joel Edgerton." Uh, I said, "Sure, absolutely." So I went out, we met him, hung out for a few nights, and Johnny says to me, "Hey, Red, why don't you come on set with me?" I said, "Sure." So I met him at his hotel, and we drove over together. And I happened to bump into the author of that book, Dick Lear, who's a friend of mine, and he says, "Hey, Johnny, hey Red, have you seen Johnny yet? Have you met Johnny Depp yet?" I said, "I drove here with him." He goes, "Oh, I don't have to introduce you then." So me and Johnny go into the trailer, and he's getting made up, and he's getting made up as Whitey Bulger, and I hadn't seen this dude in so long, and I have such a disdain. I just started like getting like, is that guy look? It looks like Whitey. I mean, psychologically and inside of me, I don't know if something just overcame me, and I'm gonna tell you, I started getting sick in the stomach, and I was ready to start to beat the shit out of Johnny Depp. I'll be honest with you. I'm not kidding you. I had to get up and step outside to get some air. I came back in and I apologized. Johnny apologized to me up and down. He goes, "I forgot, Johnny. I forgot that he betrayed you so much that you and hadn't seen him in so long. I'm sorry." I goes, "Well, look at you, how good you look." I said, "I thought it was him at first."
What about the acting and some of the mannerisms? Did he nail that about of Whitey Bulger?
I think he did. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he did. Some of it he did. Definitely did. He's a like Mark Wahlberg. He's a great performer.
Yeah, excellent actor.
Yes.
Yeah,
He could. These guys. They're at the top of the game. They're up there for a reason because they're able to do what they can.
definitely, definitely. Now I want to switching gears a little bit, going back to the boxing. You trained with Vinny Pazienza. You fought on some of his cards. What was that like? What that experience being around him and having that relationship?
So, my one of my attorneys, Tony Cardinelli, had a relationship with Lou Duva back in the day.
Yeah, Lou.
And he says, "Hey, I got an Irish kid here. He's a good boxer, tough kid." He said, "Send him down with Vinny Pazienza to Rhode Island and spar with Vinny." Okay. So we get down to Rhode Island every day from Massachusetts, training with Vinny. And Lou Duva sent another fighter down from New Jersey. So we were doing round robins. And I happened to be doing pretty well with Vinny. Vinny's tough, of course, and talented and all that. Excuse me, but I was holding my own and doing well too.
Yeah. And
so now Lou Duva calls and says, "Bring Red Shea down to New Jersey." So I went down to New Jersey to join up a Top Rank, Lou Duva's company at the time. Yeah. And I was sparring down there. Me and Vinny was sparring. He was sparring with Rocky Lockridge back in the day, the champ.
Rocky Lockridge.
And I was sparring too with some other Irish kids that Lou Duva had at the time from Long Island. And I was doing very good. And one day, that day we were sparring with Rocky Lockridge, Vinny got cut because Rocky Lockridge would like to tap you to the body and then throw that overhand right, sneak it right over the top of you, Yeah. But I always knew that. I knew that. So I always, kept my hands up and, kept it tight, and
God, yeah.
Yeah. So he did it to Vinny and cut Vinny in sparring. But mind you, I hadn't had a contract or anything with Lou Duva or anything. I'm with Vinny. I feel I'm with Vinny. So me and Vinny are like, stuck at the hip, if you will. So we were staying at a hotel, and Vinny couldn't go to the gym because of the cut eye. So we went to poolside, and I hung out at the poolside with Vinny, like, hey, whatever,
Yeah.
So Lou Duva came, and he started yelling at me because I didn't show up to the gym, and where the hell am I? First of all, you don't have a contract with me, Lou. You're not paying me, Lou, yet. And one other thing is like water and oil with me is when somebody starts yelling at me. I cannot stand someone yelling at me. I got to either walk away or I got to handle business. I do not like someone, because I feel like to me, someone screaming at me and yelling at me is a breach of who I am.
Yeah. There's no respect, and Lou Duva gets pretty hot.
Oh yeah, he got really hot. And I didn't say anything to him, but what I did is I went to my room, got my shit, and I went back to Boston. So I go back to Boston, and that's where it started veering off from me when I went back to Boston after that. Tony Cardinelli, my lawyer, gets a call from Lou Duva. He says, hey, this Irish kid, he was doing great down here. He's great. Awesome. I wanted to get a contract with him and everything else, put him under contract. Where the hell did he go? Tony Cardinelli says, I don't know. 6 months later, I come into Tony Cardinelli's office for a friend of mine. I got a brand new Lincoln Continental. I got a Rolex on. And Tony says, Johnny, Lou Duva's been looking for you. He said, but now I kind of get the gist of it. He said, I don't know what you're doing, Johnny, but please get out of it.
But John, you had so much talent as a fighter. You could have went so far. What made you steer you left instead of going right and sticking with the box career? When did you get involved in organized crime? Tell me, what was the origin?
So I always had a little bit dabbling with that as a young kid growing up in the neighborhood. That's the way it was. That's how we survived, if you will.
Tell us the story. Tell us some of the stories when you were younger, like some of the bad things that you did.
Well, I grew up in the projects, and we'd wait for trucks to come by and deliver stuff to the store. And as soon as the driver went in, if the back wasn't locked, we would open up the back and we'd steal cases of cigarettes and stuff. And then we'd go back and the guy would come out and be like, where's my cigarettes? Where'd all the cigarettes go? Cases of cigarettes. Once he left, we went back to that store and we resold it to him for much cheaper. So that's how we survived.
That's how it started at a young age.
That's how it started, yes.
Okay. And then as you got older, how did you get in with organized crime, with the guys that were making the moves, the Irish mob and everything?
So a lot of those guys were in the gym. They used to box and train in the gym. and they'd come in with their, the great clothing, Rolexes or whatever, great cars, their pockets full of cash.
Beautiful.
And I'd be like, man, I'm trying to get some of that, I mean, be honest, I'm trying to get
It's
some of that.
enticing. It's enticing, the lifestyle.
Exactly. So I said to myself, but I want to be a fighter. That's who I am. That's what I'm built for. That's my life. That's in my heart. And that's where it started to veer off. And I started doing things and working with those guys that were underneath Whitey. And I became a part of them. But at the same time, I was boxing, believe it or not. And the crew at one time came to Atlantic City when I fought with Vinny Paz in Atlantic City, and they all came down to watch me fight. And as a matter of fact, if I won the fight, I was getting a brand new gold bracelet with my name in solid gold, which I end up winning and got that bracelet.
That motivated you.
It motivated me, but it motivated me to move to the other side because of all the money that they had.
Yeah, and the boxing was a little slower. The money was coming in slower.
That is correct.
That
is correct.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite actors was Jimmy Cagney from the gangster movies, the black and white movies. Did he have any effect on you when you were a kid watching those movies?
I love Cagney. You mean Angels with Dirty Faces?
Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, I know that movie well. I love that movie.
I watched it 100 times.
But the only thing is, in the end, he's crying. He started crying because he wanted to do it for the kids. And I just hated that, because even though he was doing it for the kids, I get it. But for me, I just couldn't see myself ever doing that ever.
I totally understand. I felt the same way at the end. I was like, don't do it. But he did it for the kids. And, Father O'Connell, I think his name was Jerry. But he had to do, right? But it's a great movie. Public Enemies, another great movie.
Yeah, great movie. Oh, he was awesome. And he was so talented, not just as an actor, but he could sing, he could dance, he could do it all. He was a very talented artist.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorites, but I had to ask you because I knew
but I'll never forget when I was inside when I first got locked up, and I was inside in Danbury, Connecticut, when it was men. And I was sitting with a bunch of mob guys,
Yeah.
And I look up and I see this big water tower that they have. And all I can picture myself, I goes, I'm going to go up there. I want to go up there on top and say, Ma, I made it. I'm on top of the world now, Ma.
Classic moment.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Now, what was it like working with Whitey and the crew, and what were some of the day-to-day responsibilities that you had? I know you were in charge of narcotics. How did that come about with Whitey?
So I started out distribution-wise, and then I worked my way up. And then the crew had come to me one day, and they said, Whitey's head guy, he said, Red, I see you got a brand new this car, BMW, Rolexes, this and that. You're doing pretty well. He says, you haven't been coming to us that much at all. I said, you're right, because I have my own source now. And that was like a no-no,
Yeah, you had a lot of balls to talk.
I had a lot of balls.
But everybody knew your style. They knew your mentality, your reputation.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of them like threatening me or anything like that, business-wise, the head guy was smart. He said, oh, really? Because their supply wasn't that good. And I said to him, he said to me, why don't you join us? You can keep.
What was his name, John?
His real name, believe it or not, was the same last name.
If you don't want to give the
No. He's deceased now, but he actually testified against Whitey Bulger in the court case.
Oh, okay.
So his name is Billy Shea, same last name as me, no relation.
No relation.
So he said to me, why don't you join us? You get to keep your customers. You don't have to bring your customers in with us. And you go and you supply us, and we'll split that money. I said, interesting. Let me think about it. He says, don't take too long to think about it. I said, take it easy. So I thought about it. It was a win-win situation for me. So I said, I'm in. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. So that's when I started, just became the main distributor for the crew. Florida, coming back in Florida to Boston all the time. Multiple kilos, monthly. I never made so much money in my life. I mean, we'd sit every 2 weeks at the table and chop up. I'd be walking about with 100 grand in my bag or whatever, 150,000. It depends what type of month. But I wasn't walking out of there no less than 100 grand every 2 weeks.
What was your age at that time? Around how old were you at that time?
I was like 20.
Oh my God, you're a young kid. You don't even know what to do with all that kind of money at that time, especially
No.
in
Oh,
the
I knew what to do with it. I know what to do with that money. I was having fun. I can tell you
80s.
that.
You were having a good time.
I was having a good time. I had,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I had Rolexes, you name it. Well, I still have a Rolex, but that's besides the point. I won't give that up.
Yeah, no, you gotta hold on to it. You gotta hold on to it. Now, no, I understand Whitey told you to forget about boxing and stick with the crew. Was that hard to give that up? Because
So at the time, the head guy had been told to leave because he tried to throw me and try to pull a move and throw me under the bus. By him telling me I could keep my own customers, he wanted me to take some of that cocaine and sell it to my customers, and me and him will share that profit without sharing it with the rest of the guys. I didn't like that. That's a dirty move.
Yeah.
But he's the boss. So when the time came, the guys were like, "Hey, he said that I goes, "Me?" I said, "I'm new to this. I'm new coming in here."
Yeah.
I said, I'm only doing what the boss told me to do. And that's a fact. So if you're going to grief or any beef, take it to him. So they went to Whitey with it. And Whitey said, "No, I know that young kid, but I also know that other guy." So he got a phone call. Whitey called him up from Florida because he was in Florida. And the kicker is this. I knew he was getting a phone call and he was coming up. So I said, "You know what? I don't know what's going to happen. So let me take off for the weekend. Let me go to, I went to Canada. And when I was in the airport, holy behold, who do I run into? Him. He says to me, Red, hey, what's up?" I said. He goes, "Why do you want to see me? He called me up from Florida. Is there a problem?" I said, "I don't know." Of course, I knew what was going on.
Yeah, yeah.
As I have no idea. And I get on that plane to go to Canada. I said, "Good luck. Have a nice day." I said, you try to throw me under the bus. It didn't work. And then Whitey said to him, "Hey, listen, I know you did this. I know it was your plan." He said, "You made me a lot of money, and that's the only reason I'm not going to get rid of you. But I'll tell you, you're done. Go back to Florida and stay down there." And that's when I came back, and got a call one day, and I got a call to come down. I came down to the store, and I went down to a basement, and they said he wanted to show me something.
Yeah.
And I turn around, and I get Uzis on me
Oh. Now this is
in a basement.
Kevin Weeks that's with Whitey.
Kevin Weeks and Whitey.
Okay. Now Kevin Weeks is
So
pretty tough. Just to give you, so we can let the viewers know who he is. He was like an enforcer for Whitey. Right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, he was a tough guy, but he said he said he won the Golden Gloves a few times, which he never did. But that's besides the point. But anyway, I turn around and I get Uzis on me, and they wanted me to tell them about my friends that I've been working with and how much money they had and all that. And I said to them, and Whitey, I told Whitey, whatever they have, I gave them. They get everything through me. I'd never give up my friends, ever, in my life. And I don't know how many people in that situation in a basement with Uzis on you, and then they cocked the Uzi.
Oh.
I said, "Do what you got to fucking do, period.
Yeah.
Do it." And then Whitey said, "You passed the test."
What a guy.
I was not, I'll be honest with you, I was not happy.
Yeah.
I was not happy.
Yeah.
And then that's when I became the lead guy to run everything.
Holy cow. Now, Now, Whitey had a lot of help. His brother, Billy Bulger, he was a high-ranking politician. At any capacity, did he help him at any point in his career and in his, crime career?
You got to guarantee that because believe that because it's his blood, it's his brother, and he helped him big time. And eventually, he helped him with the FBI agent named John Conley.
I was going to ask you about that, John Conley, as well. Yeah.
So that said, yeah, I became the lead guy and the head guy, and making plenty of money. But at that time, there was so much law enforcement on me. And Whitey was playing both sides so well. He would tell me who they were because he knew who they were. And I said to him, I said, there's a lot of heat. Maybe I should just kick back and go back to boxing and do some boxing. And he said, no, you don't want to do that because you'll be on TV and everything else, which I had been in the past.
Yeah.
And I said to him, oh, okay. Well, don't you think it'd be smart to like ease up a little bit and let things die down? No, just stay off the phone and be careful and stuff like that. But something didn't sit right well with me. But I was a young kid,
Yeah.
and I'm talking to the Irish mob boss of Boston,
Yeah.
and who people looked up to, like a legend, if you will.
Definitely.
And unbeknownst to me, did most people did they ever know that he was an informant with the FBI for all those years?
Yeah. No one really knew, but that's how he was beating the system. That's how he was beating, and he
Yeah,
went.
but he gave up. He didn't just give up his competition, which were the Italians. He
Yeah.
gave up his own people too.
So he was giving up. But you thought that he was maybe paying off cops and paying judges off and paying things, and that's how he was beating the system.
That is correct. Everyone thought that.
Okay, because he has so
Everyone thought that.
and his brother Billy. So he's thinking Billy's pulling strings for me. He has all the right connections. So this is how we're doing.
Correct. Correct. And anybody who says, "Oh, I knew Whitey was a rat back then," or whatever, that's a Monday quarterback. That's a Monday quarterback. There's so many Monday quarterbacks out there. It's pathetic. Well, if you really knew that, why didn't you say something then? Why didn't you bring it to a head then?
Definitely, definitely.
Because they didn't want to end up like the rest, if you will, that he put into the ocean or on the side of a highway, buried.
About how many murders was he charged with, or do you think that he was responsible for?
I think at trial it was like 19,
Oh wow.
but they say throughout his time at least 40 anyway.
Yeah, he started so young. He was a young man when he got involved in crime, and he just didn't take anything.
Well, that's what he used to say to me. You remind me so much of myself when I was younger.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. Well, how was about his fighting skills in the street? Was he a good street fighter? Whitey, was he really tough?
No,
No, he was just a shooter.
he would fight. He had balls,
Yeah.
but he definitely he was capable of using a weapon for sure. That was his choice.
Mm, okay. And now John Conley was involved, FBI agent. He was sentenced. He got in trouble. He went away for what I think 40 years or something like this. But did you have any interactions with John Conley? Was he around the
I
guys?
did not. I lived on one side of in Southie on Thomas Park, and he lived on the other side. But no, I had no interaction with him, thank God. But he since is out of prison because I guess he had cancer and he got a sympathy release, if you will.
Okay. Wow, but he doesn't go back to the neighborhood or anything like.
No, he's in Florida, from what I understand.
Oh, okay, okay. Now Kevin Weeks, what about Kevin Weeks? Is he still around? I heard he rat on Whitey too as well?
He testified against Whiting and gave the information and told where the bodies were, if you will.
Okay, and that's how he escaped prosecution, and he's walking around somewhere.
Yes,
Okay, okay. And then so the Italian mafia and the Irish mob, they were working together. Is that correct? Were they
they
working?
would work together, absolutely. But there was some competition too.
Yeah. And the ethnic rivalry between the two groups, like they'd work together, but they were still growing up as fighting with
Yeah, it's business. Well, when the head of the Italian mob at the time got indicted,
Patrioca. family?
No, this was a Jerry and Julo.
Oh, Jerry and Judah. Okay.
And when he got indicted, they had tapes of them talking about Whitey and Stevie Fleming, and they said, they'll kill anybody we want. Them Irish guys, the Whitey and Stevie, they'll kill anybody we want in tapes. And one guy says, well, he owes you $250,000 cash that he borrowed. He goes, yeah, I know he owes me $250. I know that. So one guy says to him, well, why don't you go get it with a machine gun against them Irish fucks? And the reason why he said that is because he was busting Jerry and Julo's balls, if you will.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing, you know?
Yeah. He knew what was going on. Now, this is your life story is very interesting, but I want to stop there because I want people to get the book. I want them to get into the details of everything, right? So let them know just one more time where they can get the book, Rap Bastards, and
So it's called Rap Bastards, a New York Times bestseller from John Red Shea, the guy who took the rap.
absolutely Amazon, right?
On Amazon, yes.
Okay, that's good. That's great. That's awesome. I want to switching gears really quickly. There's a big fight coming on March 1st between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. What are your thoughts on that fight? What do you think is going to happen in that matchup with Gervonta?
I like Tank. I like Tank because he's a good fighter and he's energetic and he's electric. And you don't know, even if he gets hit with a good shot, he comes from another angle and he might just catch you, if you will. And he's done that plenty of times in his fighting already.
Definitely. What do you think about the competition that he's facing? A lot of people want to see him fight the best in his division. There's a Shakur Stevenson, a little higher up. There's Teofimo Lopez, all these great fighters. What do you think about him and Shakur Stevenson matching up? Is that a classic boxer versus puncher? What do you think about that?
I think so, but he just has to worry about the weight and the height. He doesn't, when you start raising, going up and weight like that, if it's natural for him to do that, that's great. But if it isn't that natural for him to put on the weight like that or have that weight on him and the height difference, that could be a factor.
Okay. So him and Shakur Stevenson, who do you lean towards? What would they be some of the keys to victory for Tank to beat Shakur?
Definitely for Tank, he'd have to slide in, slip in like he likes to, and just be tenacious.
Just go at it, right?
Just go at it, be tenacious, and don't stop that because he doesn't want to be staying on the outside with him all night long. I can tell you that.
Definitely. Another super matchup that's going to be happening probably in September: Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Now, they call him Canelo because it's cinnamon. That's the name. But he has the red hair. Does he have some Irish in him in his background, his family tree? What do you think?
I don't know. He certainly looks that way, but
yeah.
But I would say he might it could be even German.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be even German.
Yeah.
But that said, Canelo's a great fighter. He's a tough bastard. But the thing with Canelo is he's not that fast. And you saw that with the Mayweather fight. Mayweather just picked him apart, as good as a fighter as he is. And Mayweather had him on a string. Mayweather just moved and he was straightforward and bang, bang, move, bang, bang, move. And he was too fast for him. And I think the same thing with Crawford. Crawford's going to do the same exact thing that Mayweather did to him. He's going to outbox him. And by the way, Crawford is a heavier puncher than Mayweather.
He definitely is, but he's coming up from 6 weight divisions. The only other fighters to do that was Oscar De La Hoya. He conquered 6 weight classes, and Manny Pacquiao conquered 8. So you're picking Terence Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez. That's your
yes. I don't care because that's how talented Crawford is.
Yeah, the switch hitting and everything that's going to give.
Oh yeah, his talent is he. That's the thing about Canelo. He's gonna try to he comes in and he comes out. He comes in and he comes out. And he's not that fast. And Crawford is gonna be taking advantage of that all day, all night long. So yeah, I like Crawford. I mean, I think he's the best in the world right now.
Definitely, man. We all look forward to that fight in September. But John, thank you so much for your time, John Red Shea. People, make sure that you go pick up the book, Rad Bastards, on Amazon. We look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, brother, and God bless.
I'm definitely going to see you soon. Let the fans know where they can find you on social media.
So my Instagram is red_Shea_official. So it's Red Shea official, but it's red_Shea_official. And I get all kinds of great content on there. You'll love it.
Absolutely. Well, this is Johnny Boy Boxing at Fight Hype. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you, brother.